Welcome. In this course, I'll teach you how to secure your PC using Windows Defender, Microsoft's built-in antivirus and security tool. Let's start by opening the Windows Security app. So click on the blue start icon and search for Windows Security. You'll see this app show up with the little shield. Click on it and you'll see the Windows dashboard pop up. So this is the Windows Security dashboard. If you want, you can make it full screen. And on the left, you'll see several tabs: virus and threat protection, account protection, firewall network protections, browser control, and others. So these sections are your gateway to different aspects of Windows security. The first tab, virus and threat protection. This tab is where you'll manage malware scans and real-time protection. It is one of the most critical parts of Windows Defender. And you'll see in this case, it's not even on. You'll see turned off, so we can turn it on. And we'll have real-time virus and threat protection in Windows. Next, we'll have firewall and network protection. So you'll see that this section, it helps you secure internet connections by blocking unauthorized traffic. So this is especially useful if you frequently use public Wi-Fi. There's app and browser control. This section safeguards you against malicious websites, malicious downloads, and potentially harmful apps. It's just like a safety net between you and the web. Now, you'll also see a tab, device security. So this ensures you that your hardware is protected. They have some other things here like family options. So there are different sections in the dashboard. So at the top of the dashboard, if we go to home, you'll see these status indicators. So if everything is running, you should see everything in green with these green emblems. In this case, there are several things that are not turned on. So when you see green check marks, it means your system is being protected. And if something needs attention, like a missed scan or an outdated database, you get it here. If we go to virus, now that we've covered the basics of Windows Defender, let's dive into one of its most important features, scanning for malware. Malware is malicious software, think viruses and other similar types of software. Bad software that you don't want on your computer. So first we'll perform a quick scan using Windows Defender. So start by searching for Windows Security. Open the Windows Security dashboard. And then click on Virus and Threat Protection. And in this virus and threat protection, so this is where you'll manage your system defenses. So at the top, you'll see current threats. And if there's any immediate issue like detected malware or something like that, you'll see it pop up. So in this case, there's no threats found. In this case, it did some automatic scan. Now, if you click on Quick Scan, it will start scanning your computer. It will do a quick scan on your Windows computer. You'll see the scan has started. So it's the progress bar of how far it has progressed for this scan. Usually this quick scan takes a few minutes. It depends on your system performance and the number of files being checked. So it quickly checks your system for any threats. So it's like a built-in antivirus software for Windows. So if any threats are found, it will appear here. And if no threats are found, you'll see a message saying your system is clean. Either way, make sure to review the results. So in this case, you'll see the scan results. And no virus has been found. You see some other settings, but in terms of virus, nothing has been found. If we go back to virus and threats, you'll see zero threats. So no virus found on this computer. But if you want a deeper inspection, so this is just a very quick scan. It doesn't scan every file on the computer. So in that case, click on Scan Options. And you'll see we can select different types of scans here. So a full scan, it checks every file on your computer. So this is ideal if you suspect a serious issue, if something's bad's going on your computer. A custom scan, you can choose a specific file or a folder. It checks USB drives. You can do a Microsoft offline scan. So sometimes malware might be really messing with your computer, or they might be remotely controlling your computer. In that case, you can turn off your internet and do an offline scan. So check your entire computer for malware without anybody messing with your computer. So it's an extra option. So let's say we do a full scan and click on scan now, and it will then scan your entire computer for malware. So it will scan everything, whereas a quick scan is really just what it is. A quick scan, it doesn't check everything. Full scan checks for anything unusual. So I recommend running a full scan once a month or anytime your system behaves strangely. And that's it. So you've learned how to run a quick scan. You've learned a little bit about offline scan and also how to run a full scan. And you should now be able to do that on your own Windows computer and scan your computer for any malware using the built-in Windows Defender. So we learned how to scan on threads. But what if we could stop threads before they are even on our computer? That's what real-time protection is for. So it's one of the most important features of Windows Defender. Real-time protection, it monitors your system 24/7 and automatically blocks malware before it can harm your PC. So to access real-time protection settings, we go to the Windows Security, we type Windows Security, and we have this Windows dashboard. Then we go to Virus and Threat Protection, and you'll see this section, Virus and Threat Protection Settings. In these settings, we can click on it, we can manage settings, and you'll see the option real-time protection. So if real-time protection is turned off for any reason, you'll see a warning sign with this red cross. And so make sure to turn it back on, turn it back on immediately. So it's because it protects your PC. So let's say we turn it on. And then if we were to download malware, it will try to find it just even before it's downloading to your computer. So it can be really beneficial to have it enabled. And let's see, if we go to Virus and Threat Protection, it will now not show the green mark because not every feature is turned on. We'll see Cloud Protection or Cloud Delivery Protection is off. Go back to Settings. So with Cloud Delivery Protection, it helps your Defender's ability to detect new threats. It uses Microsoft's Cloud database, so it knows more malware, it knows more viruses. So it's good to turn that on. Then, if you want, you can send the data to Microsoft. It's completely optional. Then you have Tamper Protection, and Tamper Protection prevents malware from turning off Windows Defender. So some malware will try to disable Windows Defender. So if you enable that, when the malware will not be able to turn off Windows Defender, which will really help your security. So now with everything enabled, if we go to Virus and Threat Protection, let's see. Let's say we enable this as well. Then in Virus and Threat Protection, you'll see a green mark. So no action needed. Now let's actually test if this works. So the idea is that you can download malware and it doesn't affect your system. So we'll download a test malware that is completely harmless. That's often used to test virus scanners. So that is the EICR virus or test virus. If you search for EICR test virus, you find this link. So that's EICR. It's a test virus and you can use this to test different malware software. So let's download or try to download this file. It's completely harmless. It doesn't affect your computer, but it can be used to detect if the real-time threat protection is working. So we right-click, save link as, and it will take a moment. And we click save, and you'll see that the virus is already blocked by Microsoft Edge. Now let's say we allow it, we keep it. Then you'll see couldn't download, virus detected, and Windows Security will tell you threat found. So it found this test virus, and this test virus is completely harmless. It's created by the European Institute of Virus Research. So if we click on it, you see there's no threats. It has been removed already from the computer. So that's it for real-time protection. We can see it working. When we download some simple test virus like this, it will automatically remove it before you can even run it. In this video, we'll take a look at two advanced but accessible features of the Windows Defenders. So that's offline scans and exclusions. These tools allow you to deal with stubborn malware. So malware that's always messing around with the internet, and that's hard to remove. So let's go to the offline scan. So first we'll open the Windows Security. So if you click on that, we'll go to Virus and Threat Protection. Then in Virus and Threat Protection, we want to scroll down to Current Threats. So you see, this is the Current Threat sections. And click on Scan Options. And in Scan Options, you can select Microsoft Defender Antivirus Offline Scan. So in this case, your internet could be offline. You could be disconnected from the internet. You could either disconnect the cable or disconnect Wi-Fi, so that any virus or any malware cannot communicate with the bad actor. And you can completely scan the computer. And you'll see if I would scan now, it will restart the computer. And it will take about 15 minutes to complete the offline scan. So that's how you would run an offline scan. And in this case, I'm not going to run it because it would restart the computer. But that's one of the things you can do. Now, let's go back to Virus and Threat Protection. And let's talk about exclusions. So sometimes Windows Defenders might flag a file or an app as harmful when it's actually safe. So to prevent this, you can exclude trusted items from the scan. So if you go to Virus and Threat Protection Settings, we have this option, Manage Settings. And inside the Manage Settings, you'll see an exclusion section. So here you'll see exclusions. And here you can add any file, folder, file type, or process that the firewall then flags, but it's actually safe. For example, maybe you install some program that you're 100% sure is safe, then you can add it as an exclusion. So you click Add Exclusion. You can then add a file, folder, or any type of file to the exclusions, and that won't be then detected by Windows Defender. It will then be understood as safe. Windows Defender will ignore it, ignore the folder or file during scans. For example, let's say we had a folder. Let's say we want to ignore this folder. We click Select Folder, and now this folder will be ignored by Windows Defender. So we can run the same scan, but Windows Defender won't detect any virus or anything there because it's being excluded. So that is in Virus and Threat Protection, and then exclusions. So these are advanced features, offline scans and exclusions. They give you greater control of how the Windows Defender works. So offline scans helps you to remove really nasty malware, and exclusions allow you to skip files that actually are safe, like trusted files or apps that are flagged unnecessarily. Now that we've set up real-time protection, let's move on to the Windows Firewall. It works alongside Windows Defender and it secures your internet connections. The firewall monitors incoming and outgoing network traffic, and it blocks anything suspicious. So let's see how we can access it and configure it. First, we'll open the Windows Security. You'll see this app, Windows Security. Let's open it. And then we go to Firewall and Network Protection. So once you click there, you'll see three different network types. You'll see a firewall for domain network, private network, and public network. So the domain network is used for environments connected to a domain. It's usually in corporate situation. Private network, that's for your home network, or might be your office network, but usually home. And public network is for public places. So if you decide to use your computer on a coffee shop, an airport, or something like that, you want to have that one enabled. So each type of firewall has its own settings. So there's kind of three different firewalls in Windows. And each one has its own settings. Now, you can click on each one of them and see if it's turned off or on. So in this case, all of them are turned on. If one of them is turned off, so let's say we disable one, you'll see that it is turned off. And it's very obvious that the firewall is off now, at least the domain firewall. So each of them, they are different firewalls. That's why, for example, the public one can be on while the others are off. Such settings are possible because they're basically 3 different what's. So let's say enable all of them. Now, if we go to the restore settings, and now all of the firewalls are enabled. So if you click on it, you can see some information, and you see you can block all incoming connections if you want to. For example, on a public network, you might want to block all incoming connections. Public network, like when you're in a coffee shop or anything like that, might want to block everything. While perhaps in a private network or a domain network, so private meaning your home or office, you want to have it enabled. Now we can go to advanced settings. So you'll see here this option, advanced settings. And if we click on it, we go to the Windows Firewall. So you'll see this, this Windows Firewall settings. You can manage inbound rules, so rules for incoming traffic, rules for outgoing traffic. You'll see the outbound rules. So if you want to block a specific app from accessing the internet, you'd create a new outbound rule. You see all the way on the right, we have a new rule. So you can click new rule and click a certain program. We can specify the path to the program. For example, maybe we don't want Notepad to access the internet. So let's say we select Notepad from the list here. Let's say we select Notepad. We don't want Notepad connecting to the internet, so we select this program path. If you want, you can do it for all programs, but some programs actually need the internet. We could say block the connection, and for which type of firewall. So each firewall has its own, or each profile has its own rules. Let's say we apply it to all of them. Can give it some name. And now that rule is added. If we go again to advanced settings, you'll see we have this rule, block Notepad from the internet for all profile. See here the profile, in this case is for all. You can make rules for specific profiles. In this case, it applies for all of them. So this is an outbound rule. And the same principle, if we go to inbound rule, we can do the same. So we might want that no, a program cannot connect through to our computer the other way. So in both directions, outgoing and into our machine, we can block both of them. If we want to program, we can say next, then specify the program again. Let's say Notepad. Then we scroll down. We click next, block connection, next. And click finish after giving it a name. So now we made sure that Notepad it cannot access the internet. You'll see if I make it larger here, notepad.x, it cannot receive internet connections and it cannot do outgoing connections. So in both ways, Notepad is now blocked from internet traffic. The firewall is now blocking it. Now, there are some more advanced things you can do. For example, if we do new rule, instead of blocking an entire program, you can also block ports. So a port is like a channel or a gate into your computer. There are many different ports, and programs always use a certain port to route their traffic to. So, for example, the internet will often go to port 80 or 443, whereas other programs use other ports. So you can choose to block certain ports, which works by numeric system. So you might block port 80, 443, or any other ports. The firewall will then block it. Now keep in mind that when you block programs, you might want to block both incoming and outgoing ones. And for internet, the same thing. So the firewall is a really powerful tool. It protects your system from unauthorized access. And it comes with Windows itself. So it's a really, really good tool to have in your Windows computer. It's included. If you download some files and you're not quite sure if you should open them or not, there's a quick way to check. So this could be an email attachment or any file that gets shared either through the internet or in other ways. So you can open the web browser and go to the website virustotal.com. This website allows you to scan a file with many, many different virus databases. So if we go to this website, we can simply drag and drop the file. For example, this file. We drag and drop it and click confirm uploads. So that's on virustotal.com. It will take a moment to load. And then it will scan the file and tell you the judgments of many different virus databases. So you'll see all these virus databases are now scanning this file. And you get a much more confidence that whether this file is malware or it's just a normal file that's being shared with you. So in this case, it checked 71 virus databases of different companies. You'll see the result here below. And only a handful of them, or none of them in this case, detected it's malware. Of course, it depends completely on the file you are trying to download. And you'll see here some details like the file size, the last time it was analyzed, and all these companies' databases results. So all these virus scanners will give you the result of what they think of this file. Now they have some different tabs, so you could go to details and see some extra information like the file signatures, different fingerprints, different file signatures, and some technical information. When it was first submitted, and you'll see the names. We can also sometimes get some behavioral information. So depending on, it's a little more technical, and some community information. Sometimes there's some comments about the file. So in this case, we know that this is executable. It's for the ARM processor. And you see it's a Windows executable. And in this case, it's harmless. You'll see score 0 of 71. If the file is harmful, then the score won't be 0. For example, if we have another file, let's say if we download a test virus, and let's download the iCar test virus, that will take a moment to load. Let's say we download this test virus, and in order to download it, we want to make sure that the Windows Defender won't automatically remove it. In Windows Security, I'll temporarily turn it off. So you'll see we have real-time threat protection, and make sure to temporarily turn the threat protection off so that we can download the test virus and give it to virustotal.com. So you'll see it's currently turned off. Then we download this malware file. So it tests, it doesn't actually harm the computer, but it's often used to test different virus scanners. You see, I save it. And then we have it. It's not downloaded yet. And we click keep this file. Then we have this file, so we can drag and drop it. And now you'll see this file is actually classified as harmful. It doesn't do anything because it's just a test virus. You see, if I open this file, it will just show some text. It's just some for detection. So this is actually the file content. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't really harm the computer in any way. but it's a test file, it's a test virus. So in this case, I'm just showing it to our virus total, so I uploaded it, and you'll see 63 virus scanners of 67 detected this test virus. So there are about 4 that didn't detect it. You'll see most of the companies detect that this is a virus, but there are a bunch of them that don't detect it. So most of them, in this case, detect it, but not all of them. So it might be useful if you decide to get some virus scanner to evaluate, or you could evaluate virus scanners with this method if you just have some files and upload and see which detects the malware and which don't. Anyway, if you download some files, you can always check on virustotal.com and by simply dragging and dropping, and then you'll see if any virus scanners, so any of these, detect it as a virus. Security can have real-world consequences. In here we see a Windows computer, and on the left we have a hacker's computer. So Windows has built-in security defenses called Windows Defender. It will allow you to block firewalls, or block attackers, block malware, block viruses, block hackers, and so on. Now, if you disable all of that, you're putting your Windows computer at risk. For example, on the left here we have the hacker's computer, and let's say the hacker is doing its thing. It's initializing some programs, and once it's initialized, it will take over this computer. So let's say it's configures it. So now it's waiting for the victim to run the malware. So in this case, we have the payload.exe, and the malware scanner is off. So Windows Defender would automatically remove this malware in normal situations. But in this situation, Windows malware or Windows Defender is turned off. So you'll see we have this program, payload, and if I open this program on this computer, on the Windows computer, you'll see nothing really seems to happen on the Windows computer. But on the attacker's computer, we got access into the Windows computer. You'll see here c:/user Windows downloads. If I list the files and folders, we can see everything that this user has downloaded. So you'll see everything that's on this computer, and we can find, for example, the file payload that is on this computer. You see the payload ps1. We can browse around the computer, and basically the hacker took over this computer using the command line interface. So this attack could have been prevented if Windows Defender was turned on. So Windows Defender is built into Windows. If you go to Windows, you'll see and search for Windows Security. You can start Windows Defender and enable it. Then you can prevent, for example, if we turn on virus and threat protection, it can then scan the computer for malware and prevent this kind of attack from happening in the first place. Congratulations, you've now learned the essentials of using Windows Defender to secure your PC. In this final video, I'll show you some additional tips to keep you safe, to keep your PC safe in the long term. So, Windows Defender, it has the virus section to find different viruses and prevent them from getting on your computer. It does so using a database, so it can basically only detect what is known in the database. That's why you want to make sure that database is up to date. How can you do that? You'll see here different sections, and one of them is virus and threat protection updates. If you click on protection updates, you'll see the last updates, and you can simply get the new updates by clicking on the button check for updates. And it will then update its database and find out about any new viruses. It will update its database so that if your computer would find that virus, it would find it in its database rather than that your database is too old and it wouldn't find it. So make sure that that is up to date, your virus database. Then you have the firewall in here, the firewall, and make sure they are turned on. So you'll see all these sections should be checked. If they are not, make sure to enable it. And you might decide to disable all incoming connections depending on how you use your computer. If you decide to connect to a public network, you'll see it's active right now. Then make sure to block incoming connections so that anyone connecting to your PC gets blocked out using that network. So public network meaning office shop, restaurant, or something like that. And you want to block all incoming connections. So those are very useful tips for keeping your system secure. Now, besides keeping your virus database up to date, you also want to make sure to update your Windows regularly. So not just Defender, but install updates on your computer system. You want to avoid downloading any suspicious files from unknown sources, from any websites. Just stick to the official websites and app stores, and you can prevent a lot of malware from entering your computer. And be cautious on any links you click in emails or instant messaging, any phishing attempts that might be in emails. And that's it. By following these tips and using Windows Defender effectively, your PC will be far more secure. Thank you for taking this course. I hope you feel confident about protecting your system.